Ukraine says its air defenses fought off a Russian attack overnight, shooting down dozens of drones and cruise missiles. And a key military airfield in western Ukraine was among the targets. Now, Kyiv also says a Russian-guided bomb hit a blood transfusion center in the city of Kupiansk on Saturday, set it on fire. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says there were casualties, but we don't have those numbers yet. CNN military analyst Lieutenant General Mark Hertling joins me now. General, we're seeing increasing strikes from the Ukrainians using drones, some high-profile drone hits over the last couple of days, including a naval landing ship, a fuel tanker, as there are some challenges getting the counteroffensive to the level at which they're hoping for. How can these drone strikes turn that momentum?
Well, the offensive, first of all, Victor, I would suggest is going slower than many expected, not slower than I expected, to be honest with you. They're conducting some very tough operations. They are through the first of three defensive belts in the southeast toward Berdyansk and Melitopol, two critical areas. But the drones strikes that they have been using, the Ukrainians have been using against Russia, has forced the Russian commanders to look at places they need to defend. Places that they would not have expected months ago. Places, we're talking about a country that doesn't have a navy, Ukraine, conducting naval operations and sinking several Russian ships or damaging them at least. That's pretty significant. It causes the Russians to pull off some of the areas that they've been defending to defend areas they didn't expect to defend. And that all requires resources.
Let's talk about the summit in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. The Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman held this summit of dozens of world leaders, hosted the Ukrainians, but not the Russians, to try to get to some framework, some discussion to a peace deal eventually. What's your degree of confidence in what we saw in Jeddah?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because not many are covering this critically important conference. Close to 50 nations attended. Russia was not one of them. In that conference, President Zelensky was able to present his 10-point peace plan, which is fascinating in terms of looking at the future. So it's a commitment to future security within Ukraine and what President Zelensky expects out of the end of the war. Things such as restoring Ukraine's territorial integrity, the withdrawal of Russian troops and the cessation of activities, releasing all prisoners and deportees, especially the children that have been deported to Russia, the thousands of children, justice, including the special tribunal, and there's 6 others that I didn't mention. So this is an opportunity for Ukraine to present what they're looking for in order to even come to the peace table with Russia. This isn't just a, hey, we're going to trade this for this. Mr. Zelensky has said specifically what he wants out of any kind of relationship with Russia. And it's going to be a tough row to hoe, Victor, to be honest with you, because those are some difficult challenges that Russia is not going to agree to.
One other topic here, a pending decision by the U.S. on whether to designate the U.S. Army soldier Travis King, who crossed from South Korea into North Korea last month, to declare him as a prisoner of war. He faces assault charges in South Korea, was going to be sent back to Fort Bliss in Texas. This is about treatment of King while he's in North Korea. Should he be declared a POW? What do you think?
Well, I don't think so, Victor, but it's a tough call. And the reason I say no is because a prisoner of war gets all kinds of, actually, things like pay. They're continued to be paid while they're a prisoner. In King's case, he willingly deserted into North Korea when he was about to undergo some legal actions. So that's a different category. We've seen this before. And it's a tough call because certainly, the United States wants to take care of all of its citizens. But in this case, this was a willing desertion by a soldier to go into a foreign country. There was no taking of him as a prisoner. He walked across the line. That's going to cause some interesting legal debates within the Pentagon and the State Department. But we'll see what happens. I personally don't believe he should be declared as a prisoner of war.
Retired Lieutenant General Mark Hertling. Good to see you. Thank you, sir.